IL-2 Great Battles is a story of perpetual changes and improvements. Once or twice a year, there are damage and flight model updates, and once in a while, an update will force me to alter my way of doing certain business in a particular aircraft. I made a BF-110 E-2 tank busting video a couple years back, and while some things haven't changed, some things have. And I put together a little update on what I'm doing differently these days in the 110 E-2 and some more detailed information on the mechanics of low-angle bombing. First of all, I stopped carrying the 2 SC500 bomb load, and the reason isn't game related. While reading Wolfgang Fleischer's book on Luftwaffe Ordnance, I discovered that 500 kilogram bombs were nowhere near as prevalent on the Eastern Front as they are in the multiplayer world, and 1,000 kilogram and heavier bombs were almost never around unless they were brought in for special purpose. Besides the 1 to 15 kilogram splitter bombs, the most utilized bombs on the Eastern Front were 50 and 250 kilograms in weight. I highly recommend Fleischer's book, and my preferred bomb load in the 110 E-2 is the 2 SC-250s and 4 SC-50 loadout. This makes for an easy takeoff and a faster moving and climbing aircraft on the way to the target area. And to be honest, a 500 kilogram bomb is just overkill on most targets, especially tanks. The SC-250 will easily kill any tank in the Allied inventory, including the KV-1, if you can put it down nice and close. Now that's a personal decision on my part, and not trying to start an anti-big bomb movement, but the lighter aircraft is a real pleasure to fly. Another development on the tank and bomb front is that while I used to be able to smoke KV-1s left and right with the well-placed SC-50, like in this 2019 video, that's no longer the case. I don't know if they made the SC-50 weaker or the KV-1 stronger, but after an update in 2020, this relationship changed. I can still get a one-bomb kill every once in a while with an SC-50, and I surprisingly do get one in the upcoming example mission, but most of the time that's not the case, and it takes 2 bombs minimum to finish off a KV-1. In this online server footage, SCG Geronimo puts an SC-50 down within a meter of a KV-1 and it's still standing. SCG Polo slams one right against the side of a KV-1 and it doesn't go down until he drops a second SC-50 on it. I dropped an SD-70 off a Stuka and stuck it about 2.5 to 3 meters from the side of a KV-1, followed by Polo putting one down on the same tank within 1.5 to 2 meters and it still didn't go down. So it looks a little harder to kill a KV-1 with an SC-50, but the good news is the T-34 is still pretty vulnerable to a close detonation. When I came back to the game after a year away, I was seeing lots of bombs not exploding with the 1-second bomb timer I typically use with this technique. I don't know if it's me inadvertently dropping lower than I used to or if something has been changed, but to be honest, I don't think it's me. But the end result is having to change to a 5-second bomb timer, and I've had to steepen my dive just a tad to make sure the bomb sticks in the ground and doesn't skip away. And finally, since I started putting MGFF rounds into the engine or driver compartment instead of focusing on the turret, strafe kills have become much easier to get, but you do have to fire from very close. As we discussed last week, the highly effective shallow angle bombing technique I've demonstrated with Soviet aircraft will not work with Axis aircraft. The bomb simply won't detonate from such a shallow drop. So for the BF-110, I used 2 different techniques, very similar to the low angle attack dive technique I use with the A-20B. The low angle low drop method for tanks in the open and the low angle high drop method for tanks with obstacles in close proximity. And today we're going to cover the low angle low drop method. Based on analysis of these 16 screenshots, my typical dive angle for this low drop method ranges between 27 and 34 degrees, falling neatly into the low angle dive definition of 25 to 35 degrees with a maximum deviation of 7 degrees, although 11 of the 16 fall between 28 and 31 degrees, a 3-degree deviation. I've worked out a release point that works for this dive angle range, and this is how it works. I start with a dive altitude of 600 meters, give or take 100 meters, engine ATA of 1.2, and plenty of radiator cooling as needed. I got the trim back to 100% tail heavy to ensure a guaranteed dive recovery. The 110 has great visibility to the front and side, so picking out a target and keeping it in view prior to diving is relatively easy. As I've said in previous videos, there's no magic trick to figuring out where to start your dive to get on your preferred dive angle. You just have to develop that skill with some practice. I start the dive by placing the tank under the gun sight crosshair center and split the tank down the middle with a vertical crosshair. I make vertical adjustments up and down to fine-tune my dive angle as needed, but I keep the tank in view at all times. Once I'm satisfied with the dive angle, I place the first horizontal line under the crosshair center on the tank and freeze it there in place until the tank disappears below the bottom ring of the gun sight. That is the cue to hit the bomb release button. The bomb drop order is as shown here, or another way of thinking about it is belly bombs are 1 and 2, and wing bombs are 1, 2, 3, 4. When dropping bombs off the wings, you have to offset to the opposite side of the bomb location. Right side for a left bomb and left side for a right bomb. Now let's watch a practical demonstration with 2 SC-250s and 4 SC-50s, and we'll finish up with a couple of strafing kills. It's rolling into the target area, checking it out. It's a nice curve area over there. Yeah, I'll take this KV-1 first. Drop. Veering off to the right, making my turnaround to the left to stay perpendicular to the section of the road I want to stay on. This 110's got great visibility to the 45-degree area. Hit this T-34. Drop. Whew, shockwave. Alright, so we'll be dropping the wing bombs now. First one's on the left wing, so we'll have an offset to the right. See that T-34 down there. Right offset. Drop. Nothing on the other side over here. Drop. There's another KV-1 over there. I think we'll drop our final 2 SC-50s on that KV-1, see how that works out. Drop. That's very unusual. I almost never get a one-pass kill like that with the SC-50. This is the last final bomb. Right wing, left offset. Drop. All right, we'll make some gun passes here on the light tanks. Move this pitch back to much less tail heavy, so I'm not fighting the nose to keep a crosshair on the target. Ooh, don't like that angle. Pull this around a little bit and cut back in. There we go. watch those trees right there. If those trees behind the tank were any closer, that would be a major issue. We'll try to get one more. Oh, this is tricky because of those trees. Gonna have to drop in quick. Yeah, it wasn't much. We're gonna have to turn around and do that again. That should be a kill. Don't make a liar out of me. There we go. So, we could keep this going, but I'm going to call it right here. You get the point. We didn't even go through one magazine of ammo. So that's the low angle, low drop technique in the 110. You may find you prefer a different dive angle or different whatever, but regardless, the way to determine your bomb release point is a little trial and error experimentation. Watch the bomb detonations when you're pulling away from the tank. If they're falling short, you're releasing too soon. If they're falling long, you're hitting the bomb release button too late. Just adjust your release in accordance with that feedback from practice and you will find your own style. Next week, we'll discuss the low angle high drop method. As always, thanks for watching. This is HVB. Peace out.